started hanging out with the wrong crowd, which led to bad behavior. Started experimenting with marijuana, and it just climbed from there, and I kept getting a little worse and a little worse and a little worse. I started having fun trying new things, but the new things were, drugs and alcohol and an abusive lifestyle. I ended up getting in a car wreck and some bad series of events that kind of led to me realizing that I definitely had a problem.
Living with Mark during that time was just a very, very stressful time. There was a lot of confrontation, and if there wasn't confrontation, then there was this unspoken tension in the room always. Somewhere through some of the counseling, somebody had mentioned Teen Challenge, and it was through making phone calls to some of the different other teen challenges that they suggested Brush Creek and said that was for teens, and that was what we needed because he was 16 at the time.
The first time I met Mark and his parents was the day he came into the program. My wife and I both describe him kind of the same. Our take on him was he was that California beach bum kind of kid. Mark was all about chilling. He was all about just laying back and not a whole lot of motivation to do anything. Mark did want to change, and that was unusual about him.
After visiting with Sean and Shannon for several hours and leaving Mark there, and then we're driving out of the driveway thinking a sense of peace that I just felt very much at peace, that I knew was very confident that he was going to get what he needed to get there, to get the help.
I saw Mark grow in the area of being able to deal with frustration. And that's one thing that leads a lot of people back to using, because that's how they cope. We get frustrated, so what do? We go get high. When Mark would get frustrated here, we saw him grow in being able to handle that and just roll with it and realize that that wasn't at the end of the world, and that he could handle it and didn't have to go to those things.
It was such a joy to watch him over the 13 months that he was here, to see him turn into the awesome young man that he was able to turn into. When he came to Brush Creek, was carrying a very, very low grade point average. And then when he came here, in addition to certainly raising his grade point, he graduated with over a 3-point from New Life House.
While I was in Brush Creek, I became an Eagle Scout right before I turned 18, and now I'm an Eagle Scout, which was a pretty big accomplishment.
I wasn't able to go to the ceremony, but when he came back from it, I still have the mentor pin that he gave me, and that was a big accomplishment. That was pretty neat to be able to see a young man who had no hope, whose parents, I remember standing. We took Jeff and Gina down to the park to show them before they left, and I remember standing there and just talking to them. Mark was down here with the guys already, and Shannon and I just standing down there sharing our story with them, but them just talking. And as an average parent who gets to a point of just wanting so much for their son or their daughter.
He has a focus for his life. He's grounded. He knows where he wants to go. He knows who he is. And it's a joy to see him, and it's a joy to be with him. And I just am so thankful every single day.
Well, kind of our tagline is Teen Challenge Oklahoma, where change happens. And change definitely took place in Mark. Change definitely happened in his life. And so that's probably how I sum it up, is change happened.